Welcome to For the Record, an unfiltered view on current trends and timeless advice for surviving in the aesthetics industry. Whether you're an injector, practice owner, sales rep, or marketer, it's time to set the record straight. Each week we cut through the chaos and showcase diverse perspectives and winning ideas from the best minds in the industry. I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Hall, Chief Growth Officer at Aesthetic Record. Now, let's get started on this week's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to another For the Record. And today we have the queen of aesthetics. We've got the fairy godmother, the one who probably really started the whole thing for all of us. Back in 1999, when she was just a little pup, she started in aesthetics and has grown to really have an empire of training and learning and teaching people about adverse events and all the ways to inject safely, and has made us better for it. Really, if you're using a technique today, it probably came from her brain and her thought process, has paved the way for nurses to get the respect they deserve, to be the queens of the room, to know all the things. She goes toe-to-toe with anybody, is a genius when it comes to all things aesthetics and all things probably in general, has an incredible training program with cadavers, and is just probably one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet also, has not let any of it go to her head. She is humble, precious, a wonderful human, a great friend, and really is the backbone of our industry from day one. I'm so thrilled to welcome Julie Bass Kaplan to our podcast. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you. Gosh, what an introduction. And it's hard to hear. It's hard to accept all those things, but it's very generous. Thank you very much.
Well, in 6 seasons, we've talked about you on the show a lot. Your name comes up all the
Oh,
time. You're also a successful entrepreneur with Disappearing Act Medical Aesthetics. You also have, obviously, Julie's Head and Breakfast. So you're also a busy business owner. You're also a mother. You're a wife. Your husband's a plastic surgeon as well in the industry. You're doing everything all the time. You're part of Galderma for Allergan, Palette. You're a busy little bee, and you're going back and forth between Oregon and California. So like your life is probably chaos, but you always have it together. So give us an idea for those who have been living under a rock and don't know you, the highlight reel of Julie Bass Kaplan.
you already did it. I mean, but yeah, I did. I started our company back in 1999 because I had hair on my chin and I had pretty much like a pretty solid little goatee, and I thought I was the only one. And then hair removal came out. I just started nursing school. I just got married to Jory. We were going to have a couple of kids. That was our plan. And all in 1 year, we just did it all. I got pregnant. I got married. I started a business. Got rid of my goatee. Hired a nurse. And it exploded. And I was 31 years old. Yeah. And in just a few days, I'm about to turn 58. So that is just mind-boggling to me how long of a road it's been. But honestly, it does not feel very long at all. But I really did just start this whole business because of that goatee. So I tell people that I'm mentoring, look, I started my business by the hair in my chinny chin chin, literally, and from there, as things came along, we came along with the things, but there was no trainers, there was nobody leading the way. My husband being an ENT facial plastic, I came from the OR. I used to be a certified first assist. So I would help him with his head and neck cancer cases, and radical necks and things like that. So I was exposed early on to facial anatomy, and it's always fascinated me. And he's such a good teacher. So he taught me how to inject Botox. Because he was putting it in vocal cords in his practice, and then he taught me how to inject collagens, which back then was Cosmoderm and Cosmoplast. And then Restylane came out, and my Restylane rep, Alicia Merlot, trained me how to inject Restylane. So, and of course, it was nasal labial folds and lips. And nobody talked about vascular adverse events back then, literally nobody. I was so happy to be able to impact people's lives, not only with removing hair, removing tattoos that they didn't like, or any sort of laser. It was just fun to give somebody lips, to, I don't know, I think we made people look like monkeys with their nasolabial folds for a while, but we didn't know any better. But yeah, in a nutshell, I got to learn things one thing at a time. So when I got injured in 2010 with a training, the trainer injected a non-reversible filler here, and it got in my infraorbital foramen and caused a great big, my whole left side of the face, my skin rotted off, and I had to regrow the skin. And that really woke me up. That really made me realize about vascular adverse events. And sadly, everybody we went to, nobody had any experience with it in 2010. So that was already 11 years into my career, and that was the first 11 years where like ignorance is bliss, right? I was so blissful. And then after that, I had a real come to Moses moment. We're Jewish, so I say come to Moses. But I did. I had a real come to Moses moment where I'm like, do I keep doing this and have this chance of hurting somebody like I was hurt? Because it was a good 6 months of a pizza face, right? Or do I figure out how to prevent this and how to treat this for somebody and when it does happen to them? And thank goodness I made the right decision to stay with it and not go back to the OR. But it was pretty tempting to go back to the OR. I'm just glad I didn't. But I got back on the horse the very next day, went in there with a totally messed up face and started injecting people. And I said, this could happen to you. And I got the response, that's okay. I trust you. Like, oh God. Okay, that's really not easy to hear, but people are brave. But since then, it made me want to teach. So that has been a pivotal moment in my life, a pivotal moment as a mother, seeing my children support me through something like that. And my husband, of course, yeah, he is so amazing. So in love with that man. And that's really my story. That's my passion. That's my why. And I'm sorry for the long answer, but it's a real answer. I'm so driven to have everybody prepared for this moment where things don't go quite right, whether it's nodules or an infection or a vascular adverse event, whatever it is, I want to really make sure they have a plan and know what to do and a community to support them to run things by. So that's why I do what I do.
Well, and I'm sure you trained thousands of people in your time. Do you have any idea like how many people you've trained over the years?
No, just lots.
Lots and lots.
Lots. Yeah. I have a Patreon community, thousands of people there. And I'm so grateful for that community. And I have, over the years, I went into a lot of offices with Allergan, since I think it was 2012. I started training for Allergan, doing private workshops, small group workshops with Palette as well. Lots and lots of those virtual. Yeah, probably. I don't know, maybe, gosh, I'm just not good at math, but a lot,
A
a
lot.
lot. And that's just brings me joy to just be there for somebody who didn't have that. People aren't being trained, hopefully, by their sales reps anymore, like I was. But yeah, I don't know. It never gets old though.
Well, shout out to Alicia Merlot. We love her here. She's a dear friend. I'm glad if you were with somebody, it was with her. But I think
Yeah.
I always say about you, and I'll just be very transparent. I always say your career has been so long because you are so easy. You're easy to work with. You have your shit together. You're buttoned up. You have fun with it. The audience loves you. You'll take the pictures. You'll do the things. You're just so certainly humble. That's the word I would definitely use is humble. But also, you think you're going to be this larger than life character, and you are. Like your personality is so big. But when it comes to like the real deal, you're so knowledgeable, and you're also just get right in there and do it. Like, hey, let me help you figure this out. And I meet with so many people who are newer to the industry, Julie, who want to be famous. They want to be on podium, and they're not there. And you see them ebb and flow, right? You see them get famous, they fall away. They get famous, they fall away because they're hard to work with, or they let the fame of it all sort of transcend what should be the mission to do better and to give back to the industry. And so I always love that about like you, I look at George, Connie, Haley, this whole group of you that kind of really started a lot of this. you're all still around and you're all still doing podiums every day, and you're all still, the sage, knowledgeable people who we look at in the industry to say, what's Julie going to do about this? And that's just not common. I think we don't see that anymore. And so what do you think, in your own words, has been the key to you still being as important to the industry today as you were in 2010 when you decided to do vascular occlusion as a big focus of your career?
I think the thing that everybody mentioned just a few seconds ago, the thing that we all have in common is that we absolutely love what we do. We eat it, we drink it, we breathe it, we sleep it. Like I literally dream about it, wake up and go, oh my God, that's a good idea. Okay, I can't wait to try it. You know what I mean? It's just in our soul. We just took it all in, and we did it not for the fame. We didn't do it for the followers. In fact, it makes me sad when people buy followers because it's such a false existence, and it's they're not going to get the real feel with the community if they do that. So that's not our reason. That's not any of our why. And for us, gosh, I if somebody asked me to take a picture with them, I'm just like blown away that people want that. And it makes me feel blessed and fortunate that somebody shares my passion. And heck yeah, it's a privilege to be in a photo with them. Forget about me. Like this is everybody that I take a picture with, they aspire to have the same goals as me, which is safety, which is beautiful artistic work. No matter, just hand me a product, I'm going to make some magic with it. It's going to be fun. So it's not about industry, it's about this wonderful field of medicine we're in, and how can we be the safest, use very little product to achieve a whole lot of happiness. And that's just kind of, we're all the same that way. So when I was a little girl, I used to dream of being famous, but also stay nice, stay myself. And I thought I was going to be a model, but I had crooked teeth and I was skinny. I didn't have any breasts. I was a very late bloomer. Oh my God. I grew 6 inches after I graduated high school. That's how late of a bloomer I was. Anyway, but I like this level of recognition because it doesn't feel like fame, I would hate to be famous because those people don't have any privacy at all. They have more haters. They have more, I don't know. You look at people super famous, they're not mentally healthy for the most part, unless they get away to the country and have a ranch in Montana or something, that they're not normal. So I don't want that kind of fame ever. I just want to be able to touch people's lives and careers and support them. And I love, like, people are absolutely my drug of choice. So I want to be around people, and they make me high, you know, every time. Small group, big group, I don't care. I'm high when I'm around them.
Well, and I think you have this unique opportunity. Many of you, even Lori, like that started a little bit earlier on, you got to kind of grow at a pace that was palatable. Like some of the people who come in today, they want to be famous in a year. And I think what you mentioned about when you get super famous, if you feel like you haven't earned it and there's some kind of an imposter syndrome there, it's very hard mentally to kind of stay in the game. I mean, you've done this for a long time. You have put in the groundwork really for the whole industry to learn and grow, but you've also been part of every decision. I feel like at every table, I hear your name or you're part of it or you're on an ad board. I think you had the luxury of like, you've earned your stripes, 50 times over, and you're very famous in our industry for sure, but because you're so good. It isn't because like you had a great Instagram, I mean, not that you don't have a great Instagram, but you got famous because you were great at your craft. Like you proved time and time again that you were so good at what you were doing. I think it feels different when you've earned it like that versus you have really great TikToks and you're dancing and you're having fun, which is also great, but it's not the same kind of famous. It's not the sage wisdom kind of famous that I think you've earned and others, in your same kind of your boat have earned as well. I think it's just different. So I look at you and think, gosh, to have a career that long and that amazing, you're doing a lot of things right. And so I hope that people who are listening who are thinking about, I want to be like Julie one day, it's not an instant thing, and you got to earn your way, you got to earn your keep, because then everybody wants to call you. Like I always think about you, adverse event, who would you call? Julie. I want to have a new technique, who would you call? Julie. Like you kind of made yourself into that just because you always know the answer. So I think it's very cool to see that you're still so important and that you still have such passion for it, because to your point, you're like a childlike wonder of all that you do. That fades for people over the years, and I think you're still as excited today about it as you were the day I met you, like in 2015. Like it's not any different for me today to see you than it was back then. So I think that's just such a cool thing. But I digress. I'm a fangirl, you know that. I love you.
Stop it. I love you too. But I just want to point out that I don't know everything and I'm never going to know everything. And that's what I love about it, right? And because it'd be so boring to know everything. So that's why I hang out with really smart people. And I love to collaborate with friends in anatomy workshops or in any sort of any workshop at all, because I get to learn too. And we get to together, like it's almost a catalyst. It's like just pick any really wonderful colleague that I have. It could be anybody, and together we're going to be smarter than we were just sitting in a room by ourselves. So, no, I don't know everything, and that's what's so cool. I just want to point that out.
I think you know a whole lot of stuff. But I do want to talk about briefly, you know, you are a nurse, right? You're a nurse practitioner with about 4,000 credentials at the end of your name. We have to have special social media templates just for Julie's name. But you have
Ridiculous.
you've become really for the nurse as an advocate, because I think we oftentimes overlook. I shouldn't say we, I definitely don't, but in the industry, we get caught up, we're used to in the core physician, the doctors are, you know, doctor this, doctor that. And
Yeah.
we know that the nurse injector PA group does the majority of injections. The majority of aesthetic procedures that are non-surgical are done by a non-physician. And you guys are really kick ass at it. You're so good at it. You're the ones teaching and leading and training and doing all the things to make us better. But you often get sort of put to the side or you kind of get derailed. And I think there's finally been a turn of the tide, maybe in the last couple of years. How do you fight that? I mean, I shouldn't say fight, but how do you go to work every day knowing that someone, you know, you got to keep fighting for this right to be on the podium when God knows you've done more cadaver courses and teaching more people than probably anybody else in the whole industry. How do we keep advocating for that and to keep people top of mind thinking about the fact that you guys are leading the business, you're leading the industry, you're the ones who are doing the work every day, hands on the patients. What do we do? Because I'm looking for ways, Julie, that we as an industry help to support that mission because we're not doing enough either. So do you have any tips, tricks, thoughts that we can go to the market with?
I think the thing that I found over the years is that well, first of all, I don't think what we're doing I don't think we should use the word industry for what we do because we are medical providers. We are absolutely healthcare practitioners. And for me, I've replaced the word industry with field of medicine because we should take it seriously. And so I'd say number one, we need to take our careers seriously and stop thinking of it as industry. The people that sell the syringes, Allergan, Galderma, Merz, Evolus, all those people I refer to as industry, right? Because their goal is making money. Our goal is healthy and lovely outcomes. And I think they're two very different things. So for me, number one, taking this field of medicine seriously, and not, chomping bubble gum and talking about how cool it is to inject myself in my bathroom, with no gloves and just saying, oh, look what a bad, what I am. I can do this in front of my mirror with no gloves. And that is not taking this field of medicine seriously. Showing people how to do it yourself, it's not okay. So, number one, take yourself seriously. Number two, get relationships with industry. I'm just thinking my RM for Allergan, Chris White, is amazing, and he always takes time to talk to me and to listen to me. Advisory boards, I never say no to because that's a chance too to make relationships. I'm a big fangirl of Carrie Galpin. Never, never, ever disappoints. So I'm just thinking about all these relationships over the years that we've had opportunities to forge with industry, uh, are special because I don't have any fear to say my heart and to say what I really think. Not only that, but fellow colleagues who are physicians. Shino Bay comes to mind. There's so many advocates. Kian Karimi, these people that invite us to podium for their conferences, and have the utmost respect for what we do. And Sheena will defend us. Keon will defend us. There's so many good people. I'm Steve Yolen. uh, gosh, I'm gonna, if I start listing, it'll be boring and I'll leave somebody out and I'll feel bad. But there's a lot of wonderful partners. I mean, there's more really wonderful partners that are that will go to bat for us. And so I think really communicating with them too. Leslie Fletcher and I have done some research just saying, hey, how often worldwide are PAs, nurses, and NPs doing the procedures? And it was in the 90 something percentage, where MDs are busy being MDs, and that is great, right? They're saving lives. They're literally carving cancer out of people. So it's like it's a good thing to collaborate and work together. And it's one of those things where you're stronger together than you are just being off on your own as a core physician. And it's sad for some people, it's a money game, but it isn't for a lot of us who love what we do. If we make money, it's because our passion and our drive shines through, and our love for our patients. So yeah, I think those three things, communicate, first of all, take it seriously. Second of all, get industry partners that listen, that you're not afraid to speak your truth. And third, have really good friends across the specialties, have multi-specialty colleagues that you can speak with, teach with, and bounce ideas off and just text. And be patient. It does come. I mean, I don't know. I'm 50, almost 58 years old, and I got to do something really cool last weekend that shattered a glass ceiling. And I still am riding the high for that. So it does happen, you know.
Was that your cadaver bus?
Yeah, yeah. So for the first time in U.S. history, industry asked a nurse practitioner to lead a cadaver truck. So an anatomy workshop that's mobile at a conference, and my helper, my partner was also a nurse. So it was two nurses leading this, and I just had I remember just like being the person helping before and not getting to dissect, not getting to talk about anatomy, and this time I got to dissect two of the donors, and I got to talk about anatomy and where I put filler and why, and to have Erica Oaks right next to me, helping me like make all the magic happen in the room, was so magical. And thank you to Allergan for being the first to do that. But hopefully they're not going to be the last. And hopefully I won't be the last nurse practitioner to lead an anatomy workshop. But you're right. I counted the ones I've led by myself, and it was 69 of them. And that's a pretty fair amount, you know. I think I'm pretty good at dissecting now, but I absolutely love facial anatomy, and so hopefully there's a lot more nurses who want to be, or PAs who want to be a facial anatomist, and that's what I am, and I'm proud to be a nurse practitioner who's a facial anatomist. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Well, and I love that it's, you can be an anatomist if you're a nurse or a PA or an NP. You don't have to be a physician. I think anatomist is a whole separate, I mean, this, it's a whole separate world. I think the art of the cadaver is just such a different thing than knowing your anatomy. I mean, you have to be able to teach it and know it and all the anomalies that happen. And if you've never been to a cadaver course, this is your call to go to one for sure. Fly to Oregon and go to Julie's. But I think the cadaver, the sexiness of all of it, I'm so glad it's like taken hold. I remember we did a cadaver lab here in Texas with Gain in 2017, and people were just like appalled, like, what do we do with this cadaver? If they had not been in medical school at that point, they hadn't really seen a cadaver. We weren't doing it yet for like the general public. It wasn't like a thing you would do if you were like in nursing school even. Fast forward to today, they can go to your course. I think monthly you give one. There's,
Yep.
there's a cadaver bus at Extenders. There's things happening all across the country. There is no reason today in 2025 that you should not be able to access a cadaver course. We have one in Aesthetic Next coming up in a few weeks. Within the month, I mean, if you decide to go to one today, within 30 days, you'll find one. And there's some really great ones. There's some that are not so great too. And what I wanted to say about that is I think what makes it so cool when you do it is you are a injector. Like, you're a busy injector. You're teaching it from the perspective of when you go to your chair on Monday morning and you have a syringe in your hand, here's what you got to know. it's not so high level that I can't find what I need to find. I'm not a surgeon. I'm not doing surgery things. I need to know from me at my level what I'm doing every day, what's safe and effective, what are the danger zones. And I think it's such a different slant when you teach it because it just seems like it's applicable and practical for me versus going to one that's like really academic. Not that you're not academic, but it's applicable academia. And so thinking about that, like your head and breakfast, where did that, how did you decide to take over your entire house every month with a group full of women to come in and start? I bet your neighbors think you're crazy, by the way. I bet your neighbors are like, what the hell are they
Oh,
doing over there?
well, luckily, it's a long story, but we have two bed and breakfasts in this small little town, Ashland, Oregon, and those two bed and breakfasts, can house 12 people, six in one and six in the other. And so my idea was to have these anatomy workshops. But we were going to buy a building, and when I first started these in May of 2021. And the building fell through because it didn't pass inspection. It was a nightmare building. So we pulled out of buying it for the training center. And then I thought, wait a minute, it's legal in Oregon to have a home business. And we just built a brand new house with a huge garage. And it's kind of under the ground, so it's like subterranean and cool in the summer and hot in the winter. And so I thought, you know what? This is going to be okay until we finally get a building. So we only did it at our house for a little bit. So yeah, the neighbors probably wondered what the heck we were doing down there in that subterranean basement. But I don't know. But anyway, and then we got a training center and to lease for the last 3 years. And now we're about to cut the ribbon on a building we bought and totally, took it down to the studs and rebuilt it up. So I'm so excited about that. So yeah, having 12 people in our house every month. We do take them up to our normal home and we cook them breakfast and we cook them dinner. We also take them out to a really nice dinner out at a nice restaurant. And yeah, they come here, they have a place to stay, they have all the food taken care of, and it's all inclusive. But that's why I called it head and breakfast because it's like they're at bed and breakfast, but they're learning all things about the head. And it's just kind of catchy. I don't
It's
know. And
very
the funny
catchy.
thing is that people love to send me penises for some reason. I don't know why. Head and breakfast, I don't know why, but it's kind of an inside joke now. I'll just get something from Amazon, I'll open it up and there's some form of a penis in that box. And it's always from an alumni, a Head and Breakfast alumni who's been here, who's seen our collection over the last 4.5 years. And they just love to add to it, and it cracks me up. But I love the alumni so much. They do become really good friends because they're here with us for, 4 days. It's a 4-day workshop. And in those 4 days, you can't help but fall in love with each other.
Well, I think that's
It's
the
just,
cool part about it too, is like the intimacy of it because people, I mean, Psych Next is huge. And, I'm certainly biased. I have a giant event, which is very different. And people make friends and they hang out, but you're not really forging a connection at that level. You go to this thing, you're together for 4 days. Like you're eating, sleeping, breathing together. I'm sure that you build these like friendships amongst a group and you have like a cohort and a colleague group that, if I don't know the answer, maybe she does. Or if I don't have a product, maybe she does, if we're close by each other or whatever else it is. I feel like that's the thing that right now is very cool for the industry to see is that these smaller intimate gatherings are breeding more of a colleague community, collaboration and not so much of the competition, which I know is kind of a trite thing to say, but I think it is true because they realize, hey, I actually like her. If we're together all for 4 days, we have the same goals, we have the same desires, we want to be great at our craft. I just think it's really cool to see because I know that I see them all on Instagram. They're all kind of commenting with each other's stuff and they're all together on your pictures, and it's just a really
uh,
cool network. I love it.
and it's neat too. Like a lot of them, because we've done this for 4.5 years, almost five. And it's cool because they'll return together and have these little reunions again, they'll come back here and be together again. And it just warms my heart. And oh my gosh, I saw somebody at Aesthetic Next. I think it was Aesthetic Next 5. And they came up and we got a picture together. And I go, I'm so glad you're still friends. Like, you knew each other before you went to the head and breakfast. They go, no, Julie, we literally met in your bedroom. I was just like, wow, you met in my bedroom. Okay, yeah. that could start some rumors, but okay. But it's just so cool, and they're best friends, you know. Even the very first one we did, Tani and uh, Casey. Tani and Casey are to this day best friends, and they literally met at our house. So it's just so amazing, and to see people that say, "Oh, I want to be a trainer," and now they're badass trainers, like Sarah Berg. You know, she was at our first one also. I'm just so proud of the growth I've seen for these people that launched brand new people too that had never even held a syringe before will come and pay the money and they're serious about it. And then I see their career just explode and it just makes me so happy. I do. I love teaching. I love connecting, and I love providing that conduit to create and forge long-lasting friendships throughout their career too.
And I think there's a correlation there. You just said it. They are willing to spend the money and fly across the country and come to an event without the knowledge yet, without the experience yet. They just did it. Like a Sarah Berg, I can see her doing this without any hesitation. And then they come back and they're successful because they did the thing. Like they saw the need and they paid the money and they got the education. I think that is the whole crux of all of this for me is if you want to take this specialty seriously, this field of medicine seriously, you've got to approach it seriously. And that means you have to pay to get training. You've got to keep getting training all the time. You're never done. You've got to run your business like it's an actual medical specialty. You know, you've got to do ethical things, ethical posting, all. I think what you said, a few questions ago is if you want this to be taken seriously, you've got to be serious. You can't come into your fly by night and be an actor and think you're going to get taken seriously as, as a person who's part of this industry. And I think we're having a hard time with that right now. I think we're sort of at a crossroads as an industry in many ways on the industry side for us. Excuse me, of looking at people saying who should be a trainer. If you're a Galderma allergen, who should be a trainer? Is it someone who's successful and has a great Instagram following, or those who are great educators? And they're oftentimes not the same person. So I think industry is having a really big crisis with it right now, as well as you guys as a competitor, as a group competing with each other and your patients, where do they go? Who do they see? We're kind of in this like weird place where we want to be so good, Julie, but we're having a hard time getting there. And I think it's cool to see a group like yours transcend all of that and just really be in each other's lives for a reason that's really purposeful and about, patient outcomes and just having a great colleague network. So kudos to you. I'm going to come one day. I don't know if I want to dissect, but I'm going to come.
You're always
I'm going to
welcome.
come
Oh
check
my
it out.
gosh, we're gonna have too much fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you are speaking for industry on podiums a lot, doing things. What are you seeing out there? What if you were looking at me saying, "Hey, new injector, here's some things you should know before you here's the diary of Julie before she was, 2025 Julie." What would you tell somebody who's new to kind of cut through the noise or to not make the mistakes that maybe you've made coming up and to get what they need quickly so they can start doing great things for their patients?
I would say, know what kind of a learner you are and really go for that. Those kind of trainings. Definitely, see if your employer, if whoever is hiring you and training you, if they can give you education, money toward your education each year, because you don't want to stop learning. But also, there's so many good Patreons out there that you can watch in the privacy of your own home, as you go to bed at night, as you brush your teeth, whatever. Like I keep my advanced tier at $15 a month and my beginners at $9 a month because I don't want there to be a barrier. I want it to be cheaper than a latte and a scone. Because there's no excuse to not learn from somebody who's been there and done that. And there's so many good people that have, other than myself, that have Patreons. So I'd say do something like that for sure, but learn things one at a time. Get really good at one thing and cumulatively pick up another, rather than it's like being thrown into I don't know, the ocean with a bunch of sharks and God knows what's under there. Start out with a wading pool and then learn how to move around in a wading pool, then learn how to get in a swimming pool, then learn, how to get in a lake, then a river, then an ocean. Don't just go jumping in the ocean because there's so many things we have to know. And it's not easy. And it kind of annoys me when people are promised by a training center, promised a certification at the end of a weekend. And so the person who pays thousands of dollars thinks they're now certified, but they're not. They just literally have a certification. And they're two different, very wildly different things, being certified and having a certification. So I think there's a lot of false advertising out there by people trying to train people and make money off of them. So I don't fall for those weekend training centers that promise you to be certified. To be certified as a nurse, you need aesthetic nurse provider. CANS is the only one we currently have, but there's going to be more in the future. But they do require 2 years of experience, and still you have to have a core physician sign you off that you've worked under them. So it's still kind of silly in a lot of ways, a lot of hoops to jump through, but don't promise certification. But yeah, just keep going. Get really good at one thing, then get really good at another. I like to start with, you know, PRF or PRP before they do a filler. Getting those skills down with a cannula and with a needle, tox. Hopefully, when the short-acting tox starts coming out, maybe I'm going to train with that too. So if they mess up, it's only for a couple of weeks. Trinibut. So yeah, talks maybe second thing to learn. Maybe the first thing something you can't hurt anybody with. I don't know. But laser too. Just learn one thing at a time, get good at it, get confident, and work on your connection with your patients. Because if you can sit eye to eye, sit down with them and connect, you're going to have a chance for a patient for life. And that's super valuable. So don't be like 5 minutes in the room with everybody and, they're just a number. Really look at them in the eye and treat them well, and care about them. And then you'll be successful. You can't help it, I think.
Well, I think they're going to trust you. You mentioned that early on that, your patients, even when you had your pizza face, trust you. That's a
Yeah.
responsibility that we all, I mean, in this world, if you walk in as an injector who's 6 months into this thing, you've not been really well trained, your patients, because you have an NP or PA or MD behind your name, they're just going to trust you. Carte blanche in many cases, right? There's like, well, she's a physician, she's a provider, she's a nurse, she's a whatever. I trust her. And if you've not yet learned the skill, don't overshoot the runway. And I think we see that a lot here, especially as aesthetic next kind of rolls around. People who want to do procedures on stage and things. I'm like, I don't know that I want you to do that yet. Like, I've not seen you do that successfully on a stage yet. I don't want to be the first one that you do. I think there's a part of it where because you are a medical provider, they trust you. You got to make sure that you are self modulating what you're doing in the room. I think you've got to be able to self police the fact that I don't know tear troughs yet. Although she wants me to do it and she trusts me, I'm not there yet. Maybe I should do a PDGF or I should do PRP or whatever the things are. I think we want to do the best thing for the patient, and because they want it, we give it to them. And I feel like that's where a lot of the Marge Simpson nasolabial folds came from, some of the overfilled lips. Like, you're not ready yet. The patient wants it, but you're not ready. So it'll be okay to say I'm not there. Like, my colleague Sue can do that for you instead, or whatever that might be. I think the competition also gets involved there, and it gets kind of gray. And anyway, I just think, to your point, learn a little bit at a time. And that's where I'm always so hesitant with people who want to open up their own medical spa or their own medical facility to say, you're not ready. You're not ready to be on your own. You need to be learning under someone who's really gifted at what they do and really good and a great teacher. So you can learn the kiddie pool and then the pool and then the ocean and whatever else. To go jump in the ocean without any knowledge of business or medicine in this specialty, to me, it's a crime. I mean, it's just, you shouldn't do that to yourself. I can't imagine the stress of all that. But I just love that you said learning a little bit at a time. I think is so important. And you are a business owner. So as you have people coming in and applying for jobs and wanting to work with you, what's the pulse out there with the talent pool of nurse injectors and PAs wanting to get their foot into the door of aesthetics? Because I hear some crazy stuff every day.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I love small towns. I live in two small towns. Redding, California is, 90,000 people, and Ashland, Oregon is, I think, somewhere around 25,000 people. So, I don't have a lot of, big city problems like somebody already has an Instagram following wanting to get more famous. I don't have that problem. I have I think my problem is me being able to train them and give them enough time that they need to get them that foundation to launch. And I really try to spread myself, priority with my team. But it's really hard to do all the things, doing 12 conferences a year means you're sitting at your computer writing 12 talks because you got to keep those fresh and keep learning with those. And it's just like all the time that it takes to be a teacher, you have to really, really pay enough attention to your team. And I'm always trying to do that. And I know it never feels like enough for the people that I care about the most, people that are on my team. So, it's just that constant balance, finding that. But I do think that hiring somebody with similar goals, similar passions, similar morals and ethics is the biggest thing. So if you're looking to be a team member for somebody that you respect, definitely, I think it's a good idea to be a patient there first. Go get a Botox appointment, get a laser appointment. See if this is a good fit for you as a patient. Because if you wouldn't want to be a patient there or get anything done there, why on earth would you want to work there, right? Talk to the nurse leader, talk to the doctor, if there's a medical director that's there on site, see if you can ask him some questions and how available is that medical director? There's things you can do to kind of vet them before you ever sit down for an interview. And for me, I love hiring patients because we already have a good relationship. They already know what I can do. They're a good fit as a patient, and I love my nurse patients so much. But if they want me to train them, I just want a commitment of at least 3 years. 5 or more would be great. But let me train you and let me get you started, but please don't go off on your own in the first 3 years because people don't realize it takes a good 3 to 5 years to get them to expert level on in all the things we do. They still think it's a weekend course and they'll be quote certified and they can open their own business. But nothing can be further than the truth, right? Whew. So I hope that helps. I hire people that I feel it's a lot of gut feeling. But I kind of sometimes I still get surprised, and I have been recently surprised by somebody that I thought I knew, but I clearly didn't. But we can only do our best, and just hope that the support you give them is at least not maybe if not enough, but at least they know your heart is with them and you'll be there for them.
Yeah,
That's a big long answer, but
I think it's
uh,
also poignant though. I think 3 years. I mean, imagine if you're the person who is the trainee. That's what I always say is like you can go work somewhere and get no training and get paid the same amount of money. You're going to get paid the same whatever you're going to get paid at Julie's. You're going to get paid somewhere else, same money. The fact that you get this entire value that is invaluable, right? That you couldn't get anywhere else for 3 years. You owe that to someone for having poured into you and trained you and taught you because you'll hear people say, "Well, I worked there. Like they got what they wanted out of me." Like, no, they didn't. They spent time with you that you would have gotten nowhere else for the same exact compensation. You got so much more, and we're asked to do nothing more than just learn. I mean, I just think it's such a. It hurts my heart when people say I trained her for so many years and she left and went, next door down the street. That has been a part of our world, I think, for many, many years. I think we're at some point we'll grow out of that. It'll become more, hopefully, more of a network. But that sort of mean girl, energy vampire, energy pirate. I don't know what you want to call them, but I think it is ever, it's ever evolving for our industry, for the specialty as well. But for industry side, we see it because we're in everyone's offices all the time. We hear them all talking about each other and so and so did this and so and so. And I'm like, you know what? I can't. My mind can't take any more of that. I don't have enough room for that. And so I can't imagine living it every day. And also, you have patients involved who have become loyal followers to that person and now they're moving. I just feel like my heart hurts for the business owners who do all these things and do such great work for their trainees. And then they just, poof, they're gone. I can't imagine. And you can't really protect yourself either now, right? With the laws and things, there's not a lot you can do. You just got to hope that you hire really good people who will care about you as much as you care about them. And I think it's certainly hard to find sometimes, but
yeah,
I
and treat
digress.
them well. Treat them well.
Treat them well.
Provide that educational budget. Provide I'm 2.5 hours north of my writing office, but my team knows that if they need more anatomy, they can come, assist at a head and breakfast and get more anatomy. If they need more time at the table, I go down there, 2 to 4 times a month, and we can be together and learn. And I'm also a phone call away, but just know, treat them right, pay them well, and give them, extras now and then because they are so important. And they're my second family. I love them. Yeah, it hurts more if they leave you or when they leave you, but at least it's hopefully been a mutually wonderful thing while they were there.
And their patients are better off because they were with you. I think about that too. Like, what if you hadn't trained them when they left? Like, thank God you did train them because now they're on their own and someone's better for it, right? Someone's better for the fact that you spent time with them. I just think in general, everyone that you train, someone's better somewhere. A patient has a better experience today because someone went to your class a year ago or 6 years ago or 10 years ago. I think that's such a cool thought to have, that people in our world are better off, safer, better injections, better outcomes, the whole thing because of what you've done. So, and gosh, that's true 10,000 times over for you. But you're in all the rooms with all the ad boards and all the things. So kind of as a wrap up here, what are you most excited about looking at 2030, like the next 5 years? What kind of gets your motor going right now to learn about and to get your hands on? I feel like you mentioned PDGF earlier, but what's on your radar for the next 5 years?
Yeah, so the regenerative medicine is so exciting. Women's health. I mean, we're finally getting attention about women's health and hormones and inflammation. There's going to be more research with peptides and anti-inflammatory things and all the things. And I couldn't be more excited about staying healthy into our old age, especially I'm kind of middle-aged at the right time because my mother didn't have all the tools that I have. My grandmother certainly did not. And gosh, my mother died 10 years from now for me. She died at 68 and I'm 58 and I feel like I'm so much healthier. So we are at such an advantage. So I'm just really studying a lot right now about wellness. So wellness is my new fire, and it's so fascinating. So I think that we're getting finally natural results are what people want. It's about darn time. So not making people look like monkeys, tigers, bears, fish. Oh my. We're just making people feel well, we're assisting people to feel better about themselves and to be healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, and looking at people as a good as a whole, not as the lips in room five. Connecting with people, making them just see the beauty in themselves, not just in the mirror, but from their souls. That lights me up. So I have so much hope in the future of aesthetic medicine, and I feel so blessed to be in this field and to have friends that we have. And no mean girl energy. There's a lot of jealousy in our field. There's a lot of mean girl energy. How do you avoid that? You just simply hold those people at arm's length and still be you. And don't try to be a Julie Kaplan or a Leslie Fletcher or an Erica Berry or an Olivia Solomon. Just try to be uh, but just you reaching your dreams. Don't try to be anybody else because jealousy is a bad, bad seed, and it can only grow into something ugly. So just spit out that seed, be you, and really see what it is about other people you admire that you like, and then look inside and see if there's a bit of that in you and how can you nurture that rather than just going, oh, I don't know why she's so famous. It's just really a negative, unhealthy mindset. So don't be a hater, just make yourself greater, maybe. I don't know.
Put that on a
Yeah.
T-shirt. I love that. Well, it's so funny you mentioned some names there. There's no universe where you or Erica or Leslie or Lori, any of you wouldn't help somebody or wouldn't answer their questions or pour into somebody. Like, it's so funny that you hear about the mean girls. The people who they want to be are the ones that are the nicest and probably the most forthcoming with any of their energy or their expertise. So I think
Yeah.
everyone has a story though, right? No one's life is perfect. Everyone has something that's gone wrong that day or that week or that month. I feel like we put folks on a pedestal. I know a bit about your childhood. I mean, you had some tumultuous times. No one had a perfect life. I think there's such a unique part in this medical world that we live in with aesthetics because everyone's pretty and we make cash and it's a different world than let's say cardiology or oncology is far more sexy, right? We know it's more sexy, But I just think the comparison is a thief of joy in our industry and in our world here in aesthetics is so important to remember that, because everyone
Yeah.
has, their own gifts. And I do think that we get really caught up in it. I think the conferences as well, what are you going to wear? What are you going to do? I mean, we're part of it at Aesthetic Next. We pour into that, unfortunately, just because of the nature of the beast. But we have to work really hard not to be like that, because I just don't give into that. And I say love them anyway. Love them anyway. If they're mean to you, they hate you, love them anyway. Be the bigger person. Don't let it get you down, because at some point they'll need you. You'll need them. And, what do they say? The toes you step on the day belong to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. I firmly believe that in this world. You never know who you're going to need. So, if you're stepping on toes, they could be attached to that ass you need in a few weeks or a few months. Or you have an adverse event. They have Hylenex and you don't, be nice. So I think you got to be mindful.
Don't burn any bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. And reach out to people like Lori, who's been in it forever. Lori Robertson is such a nice person, such a kind heart, and she's in it for all the right reasons as well. And yeah, you're right. I can't imagine being mean to any one of these people. And sometimes you get baited. People say, "Well, so and so said this about you," and da 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 da. And it's almost like they want you to take that bite and they want you to say something bad about them. And I just joke. I just like, yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that, but whatever. None of us are perfect, so whatever. And you just try not to say anything bad about somebody. Even if you might think it, it's just better to say, well, I do it this way, and here's my rationale for why I do it this way. I wouldn't say, oh, I wouldn't do that. That's so dangerous. I can't believe she does it that way. Instead of that, just say, well, here's why I don't do it that way, because here's my rationale. And it's so much more respectful than going, oh, what a dangerous technique. Oh my God, where did you learn that? What, on her Patreon? What? Oh, dear God. I'd rather say, well, this is why I don't like it. Or when people come in with a complication and you're reversing it and it was done by another injector, I always say, see, this is proof that a really, really good injector still has complications. And I have complications too, but you had a really good injector, rather than going, oh my God, she put that all in your muscle. Like, what a terrible injector. You know what I mean? Because trust me, none of us are perfect. And I want them to be saying nice things about me if they happen to be going to somebody else. And yeah, yeah, I don't know. So
You
that's
can
just
coach
kind
in
of like doing
private.
others you want done to yourself, and don't take the bait, even though it might be tempting sometimes. And I'm not perfect. I've probably taken the bait before, but I just really, really, really make an effort not to.
I have never heard your name with drama. I don't think ever. So, but I do think, coach in private, like call the injector when it's over and say, hey, listen, here's what I just did. Here's how I think it happened. Like, I think there is a place, to your point, in front of a patient, because then it discredits all of us and this whole entire this sphere that we live in. It discredits the whole industry, specialty, medical professional, anyone in our world to talk on each other hurts us with the patient, trusting what we do here and how we all make our living. So a huge believer in that too. But you are a joy always. I've never heard you be a dramatic person ever, and you've been so willing to give of your time over the years and been a great friend to us here at Aesthetic Next and Aesthetic Record. I think that you are the bee's knees, as you know. So what's next for you as we kind of roll off here? What's the next big thing? Where are you going to be next? You're coming to Aesthetic Next, I know. So that's yay.
Oh, yeah, I
Woo!
am. But this weekend I'm going to Lori Robertson and Gideon and Julie Woodward. We're all doing a cadaver workshop together. Oh my God, I'm so excited about that. And then I'm going to MAI the Mai with Yvonne Delos in Park City, Utah. Yeah, and then Aesthetic Next, and then Ice Band's coming up, and before you know it, CBAM and LAMCA is around the corner. I mean, it's just thing after thing after thing after thing, exciting, wonderful people, lots of hugs to give and things to learn.
Yep.
Just good stuff.
We'll end up on Rodeo Drive again at the Gucci store, hopefully at some point.
Oh, that was so fun.
Fond memories. But I'll see you at MAI in a few weeks too. But Julie,
Yeah.
you are such really, truly a blessing to our industry. And I love you dearly. And guys, if you've not gone to her head and breakfast, go find out about that. Go to it. Find a month that works. And I'm telling you, invest in that. Invest in what she can teach you. Because, so much of what we do here, you've blazed a trail for all of us in general, period. Women in this industry, period. You've been the trailblazer. You and Leslie, you mentioned Leslie before. That whole group of you have just been such a huge part of what we do. And I just think that you're the best. So with that, we're going to roll off. Any last words for our audience?
I just want to bounce it right back to you, Tiffany. You are so inspiring. To not only run a conference every year, doing a podcast, doing all the things, and then it's a huge conference with a lot of people to manage. Your team does a lot, Macy and everybody. I just don't know how you do it. So, hats off to you and being a fabulous mother at the same
Oh,
time.
thank you.
I love your little man. But you inspire a lot of us and all of us really. And oh, and not only that, having aesthetic record as an EMR system, you listen to us and you make changes that we ask for and provide training. And I'm an old dog, and to me, that's a new trick. I want to make you proud and be really good at it, but I did paper
It's
charts for
tough.
so many years. But you do a lot, and thank you. Thank you for everything you do. And thanks for all the compliments. It's hard to accept compliments, but I'm trying to get better about it and just simply say thank you.
I'm going to try to do the same. Thank you. But yes, my team is great. Shout out to the team. Well, I will see you in a few weeks. And for the rest of you, I'll see you guys next week for another episode of For the Record. Bye, Julie.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of For the Record. This podcast is not intended to provide legal or medical advice. It's for entertainment, education, and information purposes only. For more information on this week's guest or to get started with Aesthetic Record, email us at info@aestheticrecord.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more fresh perspectives on disrupting the status quo and surviving in the aesthetics industry.